Hello and welcome to a tutorial on how to use the appointment diary. So the first thing we're going to consider is how to move in the appointment diary. Doing so is very simple. You'll see there's a couple of calendars in the top right here, and whatever day we select, it will automatically move us to that day in our main diary selection here. We could move forward months just by clicking on the arrows next to the months at the top here, and move back again. If you've got a big enough screen, you can even drop down on these diary calendars and view up to 4 months at any given time. We can jump forward a period of time, 3 months or 6 months, and see what's ahead, and then jump back to today again instantly. You can also use the arrow keys at the top here to move forward one day at a time. So here we're on Monday the 18th, and then we can see we go to Tuesday the 19th, Wednesday, etc. If you want to, you can also work with the timeline visible. That's under the diary settings, and on the right hand side you'll see we have a show the timeline at the top of the screen. If you tick that, that will show you the same providers as are currently shown in your appointment diary, but it will show you the week ahead. You can see the colours that are used are the same as those in the provider's diary. So we have a light yellow here for working hours. We've got a kind of orange for their lunch break, and so we can see that there's plenty of time available for this individual, for Michael, ahead in the week. Any appointments that are made will show up in blue. So if I look at today, we can see them in the diary here, but we can also see them reflected in the timeline. So this whole timeline will probably be full of blue, with just the odd gap or two in the future. So we can jump ahead just by clicking on the day that we want. So here's Friday the 22nd. If we click on that, it will immediately take us to Friday the 22nd in the diary. We can also move forward a week at a time. So just by clicking into the zoom line here, and you can see it's moving us forward a week at a time, and then when I find a particular date that I want to choose, I just click on it and that will take us straight to that day in the actual diary. So you can either work with that timeline on or off. It entirely depends on yourself. Secondly is making an appointment. So to make an appointment, it's very simple. We choose the time of day that we want in the diary, and of course the day that we want to make the appointment on. So here we're going to choose 10 o'clock. Now I can either select the time and then select add new appointment on the left, or far more simply, I can just double click the slot in the diary itself. So you can see this is the day we're making the appointment on, and then we can choose how much time we want for that appointment. The next thing, of course, we need to choose is who the appointment is for. So if we select the magnifying glass there, and then we can do a search on who we want to make this appointment for. So let's choose Stephanie. We're instantly presented with a couple of alerts, and these will just warn us of any alerts that the patient record currently has. The treatment to be given, so this is a user configurable drop down list, and then we can choose from this list what kind of treatment the person needs. Notice when I choose checkup 15 here, which is a 15-minute checkup, look at the appointment time that this is going to take, but if I choose the checkup 15, it automatically updates the amount of time I need for that treatment category. That's because I've set that up for myself in the treatment category area, the amount of time that particular category is going to take. So we have the person who is going to be administering the treatment, the appointment location, not really necessary for smaller practices, but if you have a very large practice, then you can enter the surgery that the person is going to be in. Again, this is all user configurable. The appointment category, which colorizes the appointment in the diary. So you can see at the moment I've got 3, again user configurable, but I've got an emergency appointment, NHS and private, and I've made those appointment categories certain colours. So my emergency appointment is like this red, and NHS is blue, and private is green. So when I choose private, for example, my appointment will be green in the diary. And then the appointment status, again these are user configurable, but it's going to default to pending. And then when we save and close, this will automatically generate a description based on the above information. So if I save and close that now, we can see our appointment here. Stephanie Groves has given us our date of birth, the type of treatment that the patient is coming in for, the fact that it's private, and some other useful details should we need to contact that individual. If we want to edit an appointment at any time, again very simple, we just double click on the appointment and then we can make whatever changes we need to in our diary. Once the appointment is in the diary, it becomes very flexible. If we want to move the appointment around, we can just grab hold of it by holding down the left mouse button and then just dragging and dropping it to where we want it to go. We can even move it to a different provider entirely, so if we want Gemma to handle it, we can just drag it, move it across to Gemma to a particular slot and then just drop it. Or if we want to find another day in the diary, you can actually, for example, if we wanted to move it to tomorrow, I can just literally grab hold of it here and I can drag it across to my calendar on the right. Can you see me hovering over the 19th? And then I'll let go there. Do you want to move it from the 18th to the 19th? Yes. Now it will move it to the same time on the 19th. Let's move it back again to the 18th. Or if I want to, maybe I haven't got time to find another slot for this particular individual, but I know I need to do that at some point, then we've got very usefully this appointment store on the right hand side. And this appointment store will store any appointments for any length of time so that you can always come back to them in order to find a particular slot for that individual. So let's move Stephanie, for example, into the appointment store. So you can see she's now there. The appointment is still where we left it, but it's now waiting in the appointment store. And now I can come out, I can do whatever I need to, and then when I come back again I can still see I need to find that slot for Stephanie. And then I just find the day that I want to make that appointment for. So let's choose February the 1st, for example, and then I can drag the appointment from the appointment store and just drop it where I want it to go in my appointment diary here. So I'm going to drop it at 11 o'clock on the 1st of February. Now, because it knows I left that appointment in the diary, it's asking, well, do you want to move it from its current location, or do you want to take a copy of it? So this is a very simple way of making another repetition of the same appointment type. So perhaps the patient has come in for a checkup and they need another one in 6 months' time. Well, it's very simple. You can drag that checkup into the appointment store, move forward 6 months, and then just drag the appointment back out again to the appointment slot and then copy it. In this case, though, we want to move it from the 18th to the 1st of February. So I'm going to choose Move, and there you go. It's now disappeared from the appointment store, and it's now moved it to the 1st of February, just as we requested. Let's move it back again to the 18th. So let's say the appointment is now in the diary. What about finding an appointment slot? Again, we've got a function on the left hand side. So if you need to find a space, again, you can do that using either checking around in the diary here to see whether there are any available slots. We can use the timeline that we mentioned earlier. But if you want the program to find a slot for you, just click on Find Available Space on the left hand side. And then we can choose the date range where the patient is comfortable coming into the practice. So let's say they can come in the entire week of the 25th through to the 29th of January. They want to come in to see Michael Smith, and the appointment we can choose needs to be for, let's say, 30 minutes. Now if we want to, we can put in a second person. So maybe they're coming in to see the dentist first and they need to come in to see the hygienist next. Well, if we want to do that, then we can specify the dentist, and then we can say, yeah, let's also choose the hygienist, and they need to come in for a 20-minute appointment with the hygienist as well. And if we do that, the appointment find feature will look for any slots where the both providers are available, and then we can put in a maximum wait time for the patient. So it may be that they're willing to wait for 10, 20, 30 minutes between seeing the dentist and the hygienist, and we can enter that amount of time they're willing to wait, and then the days on which you want to search, and whether the patient can make all day, whether they can just do the morning or just do the afternoon. And then when we select the Find button, it will show us all of the dates that match the criteria that we've just entered. So now this is like a see-through window, so we can see the various date slots that it's found for us, and then we can just click on these date suggestions and look in the diary behind to see where the patient wants to have an appointment. So we can see we've got slots here on the 25th in the afternoon. Obviously we've got an empty diary here, so it's just showing us all these slots, which is great. And then when we find the actual slot, we just double click on it and make the appointment where the patient wants the appointment to be made. So that's just a very quick overview of creating an appointment within the appointment diary.